we're involved. And if Southern Empire does really well, I do really well. And my friends and family and all of the shareholders do well.
So hello everybody, welcome to our video series for exploration and mining. Today we are interviewing Mr. Dale Wallster, who is the CEO and President for Southern Empire Resources. Southern Empire Resources is currently focused in the acquisition, exploration, and development of gold deposits in the safe jurisdiction of North America. We welcome Dale. Thank you so much, Dale, for joining us today.
Good to be here.
Perfect. So Dale, without wasting your time, I would directly jump into my first question, which is about Southern Empire. Give us a quick overview of what Southern Empire is and who are the key people behind Southern Empire, which makes your work the best?
Good question. People are critical to the development of any company. There's absolutely no doubt about it.
So true.
But let me backtrack a bit here and talk a bit about Southern Empire first, and then I'll talk a bit about who's involved in the company. And
Sure.
So Southern Empire, even though I'm wearing my Mac, which is a typically Northern Canadian type of garb, Southern Empire is focused on projects much further south than Canada. Not that we're opposed to Canada. The company came into being by way of a qualifying transaction with a capital pool company in March of 2020. And in that transaction, Southern Empire acquired assets in the southern US, southwestern US in particular, some gold assets in Nevada and California, and an equity holding in a company that also had a Nevada gold asset, or has a very, very interesting Nevada gold asset. So Ron Netolitsky and I were both geologists, and we were involved in the Oro Cruise project and the Eastgate project, and basically had these on our books and said, well, what are we going to do with this and these projects? And that's, we decided to take them public in the qualifying transaction. So our focus is resource assets in the south, the southwestern US and perhaps Mexico. I don't see us moving further south than that currently. Our focus is the southwestern part of America. I mentioned Ron Netolitsky, so people, as I say, are absolutely critical and key to the development of a company, and particularly junior resource companies. The talent that those people bring to the table is important. Their connections and history is very important. And in addition, I think what's really important is the fact that they have the proverbial skin in the game. So, you know, it's very important that the people that are involved in the company are ultimately very affected by the success of the company.
Can you elaborate that a bit as well?
Yeah, so in our company, currently, there's roughly 51 million shares that are issued and outstanding. And approximately half of those shares are held by either management or friends and family, or as Netolitsky loves to put it, friends, family, and lovers of the management of the company. And you know, ultimately, For instance, I and my family have roughly 10% of the company. Business associates and close friends of mine hold about another 10% of the company. Nedalitsky's era holds roughly 18% of the company. The founders of Owl Capital and some of the directors in the early directors in the company, they all hold considerable positions in the company. So all very important. We all have a great deal of our own money and time and efforts invested in Southern Empire. And that's absolutely critical. You know, we're involved, and if Southern Empire does really well, I do really well, and my friends and family and all of the shareholders do well. So that's critical. So, as I mentioned, also of primary importance is the knowledge and history that the management and the directors of the company bring to the table. Ron Nedalitsky has been involved in the company. He's got 50 plus years of experience in the exploration and development business. He's been very important to the discovery of some major gold deposits in the world, including Eskay Creek and such. Jim Curry, a mining engineer, he's very knowledgeable in developing and building mines. He's been involved in building quite a number of precious and base metal mines in North America. Both Curry and Nedalitsky have received significant awards in their endeavors. Ron's been inducted into the Canadian Mining Hall of Fame, and Jim Curry's received awards for his mine building endeavors. Most recently, Jim's last, as I put it, his last real paying job was as chief operating officer of Equinox Gold, that owns the Mesquite gold mine that is about 14 miles away from our Oro Cruz project. So he's very familiar with the nature of mining operations in southeastern California and Imperial County. On our team, we have Andy Davidson. He's our CFO. He's also a director of the company. He's an accountant by background, so he brings that aspect to the table. We've just recently appointed two directors, Alex Heath and Ted Cavanaugh. Alex has been involved in the capital markets. He spent quite a bit of time with a boutique brokerage firm that specialized in metals and mining and resources. He's a chartered financial analyst. He's been actively involved in junior companies since he left Salomon Partners. Actually, when he left Salomon Partners, he went to work for one of the largest shipping companies in the world. And then just recently, we've brought Ted Cavanaugh onto our board.
10th of June, I guess.
And Ted recently retired from SocGen. Ted and I went to the university together about 40 years ago. And Ted is a geologist. He's got a master's degree from Dartmouth College, an Ivy League school. And he spent some time in the mining business with Denison Mines and such. And then he left the geology side of things and got involved in the mining banking end of things. And mostly from the non-equity perspective, although he did spend a fair bit of time in the equity side of it. But a good deal of what Ted has done throughout his career, and most recently he was director of metals and mining finance Americas for Societe Generale. And most of his career he's been involved in mine finance from the debt perspective and from the metals trading and hedging and so on and so forth. So we've got a lot of the bases covered with our management and the directors of the company, from the geology perspective, the exploration end of things, from the mine development perspective with mining engineering, Jim Curry, from the finance perspective, through the collective group of directors have all been involved in financing junior companies throughout their career. And then as we move forward, we've now brought Ted on board from the mergers and acquisitions and debt finance perspective as we develop our company.
Perfect.
Also of critical importance is field aspect. And so we have Dave Tupper as our vice president of exploration, and Tupper's got a considerable amount of knowledge. And we have in California, we're fortunate, or in the southwestern US, to help move our California operations along. We're very fortunate to have a very good group of permitting specialists, and we've got some terrific consultants in Stantec Consulting and Westland Resources, and we have some terrific geological talent down there as well, including Taryn Kaywood, who recently defended her PhD thesis at the University of Southern California, part of which dealt with the timing and structural controls of gold mineralization at our Oro Cruz project.
Wow. For our interviews as well, that what we try to emphasize is that project is one thing, the future aspects are one thing about a project, but the team who builds that project, and you need people who understand finance, people who, as you said, merger and acquisitions, like what will be the next step when the exploration has been done, people who do outreach, people who do investor relations, for sure, some people who understand law, compliance. So that I can really see that for Southern Empire, this is pretty packed, and the whole circle is complete. So
yeah, and obviously there's a few others that you have to throw into the mix as well, like legal and accounting, and you know.
So Dale, if I take you for our viewers, that what is the current status of the two projects, the Oro Cruz and the American Gold? At which stage we are standing? What is happening day by day there, and how do you project in the short and the long term of these projects being developed in the future?